Hi, I'm Theodore Henry, and today we have for you a wealth of information jumping from the pages of Jamaica Magazine, from stops at the Sangster International Airport to other areas of interest within the governance of our country. It's an explosion of all things worth watching. You can't afford to miss out anything, so stay with us.
Did you know that the EU has been doing a lot of work in Jamaica?
The EU provided some 23 billion Jamaican dollars to help people living in sugar-dependent areas. This means new houses for sugar estate workers, rehabilitated roads, improved schools, health centers, vocational training, business grants, and a wide range of action to improve the lives of people in sugar-dependent areas.
Life sweeter for true with the EU.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, October 17. Jamaica is on track to achieve 30% of its electricity coming from renewables within 2 years. Prime Minister Andrew Holness made that pronouncement on Tuesday during a function at Jamaica House. This would surpass the National Energy Policy target, which calls for at least 20% of the country's energy mix being renewables by the year 2030.
We now have a combined supply of just about 120 megawatts of renewable electricity power, which is currently in our grid, and that will put us to about between 15 and 18% of electricity generation in the next 2 years. So it's quite likely that we will achieve the 30% by 2020. Quite likely, if we continue at this pace.
With that goal on track, the Prime Minister says government's new target is for renewables to supply 50% of the country's electricity generation by the year 2030.
I think that that is doable. So pushing our energy generation to be 50-50 by 2030, fossil fuels and renewables. That is in our national security interest, in our survival interest, that we do that in Jamaica.
Mr. Holness was addressing Tuesday's commissioning of solar photovoltaic panels at the office of the Prime Minister, which should reduce the office's electricity bill. The project was led by the non-governmental organization Solar Head of State in collaboration with the Petroleum Corporation of Jamaica, National Energy Solutions, the Clinton Foundation, and other partners. It included a Jamaica Solar Challenge competition, with Ryan Bent winning the top prize of $75,000 for composing a song to communicate the benefits of solar energy. The state of public emergency in St. James will remain in effect until January 31 next year. Prime Minister Andrew Holness successfully led a resolution in the House of Representatives on Tuesday to allow the enhanced security measure to continue. All 47 members of the lower house who were present voted in favor of the motion. 16 MPs were absent. Before the vote, Prime Minister Holness asserted that the state of emergency had been successful in reducing murders in St. James, which had a homicide rate of 182 per 100,000 prior to the operation.
Over the period 1st of January 2018 to the 11th of October 2018, the St. James Police Division accounted for 77 murders and 86 shooting incidents. This reflected a 53% decline and a 67% decline, respectively, in both murders and shooting incidents when compared to the same period in 2017.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has also voted in favor of extending the Zone of Special Operations, ZOSO, in the St. James community of Mount Salem. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the 60-day extension will give the state space to successfully continue its social intervention activities, which have complemented the security operations.
Today, the high rate of gang-related violence, which previously characterized the community and the police division by extension, is no longer at the level it was prior to the declaration of the zone. In fact, Over the period 1st of September 2017 to the 11th of October 2018, the community experienced no murders or shooting incidents.
Mount Salem was the first ZOSO to be declared in September 2017 and transitioned to the build phase in February 2018. To date, that has resulted in a number of roads being rehabilitated, while 115 households have had their accounts regularized by the National Water Commission. Going forward, the Mount Salem Primary and Junior High School will be expanded and upgraded, and a new state-of-the-art infant school will be built. In other news, government has purchased 3 new garbage trucks to boost the capabilities of the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA. The units, which were bought at a total cost of approximately $74.7 million, were presented to the NSWMA by local government minister Desmond McKenzie on Tuesday. They will serve Metropolitan Parks and Markets, Western Parks and Markets, and Northeastern Parks and Markets. Each region will get 1 unit to improve their waste collection and transportation. Minister McKenzie says even more trucks are coming.
By the end of this year, early January, an additional 12 trucks will complement the fleet, and by year-end 2019, we are looking at close to 50 brand new trucks for the National Solid Waste Management Authority.
The minister urged the workers to take care of the units. And finally, Prime Minister Andrew Holness says government is investing in the country's sporting infrastructure to build Jamaica's capacity to host more international sporting events, including track and field.
The government has already started the process under the banner of Jamaica 55 Legacy Projects to improve the National Stadium complex here, the Trelawney Stadium, the Chedwin Park Sporting Complex in St. Catherine, Draxall in St. Anne's, and the Herb McKinley Stadium in Clarendon.
The Prime Minister was speaking at Sunday's unveiling ceremony for the statue of Olympian Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce at Statue Park in the National Stadium complex. He paid tribute to Shelly-Ann's phenomenal successes and said he hoped the statue would serve as an enduring inspiration for all Jamaicans, especially our girls. For her part, the world and Olympic champion expressed gratitude to the government for unveiling the statue in her honor.
It is my hope that this statue will serve as a testament to the fact that where you come from and how you start life are part of the story. What you do with what God has given you, the ability to do, is more important. Do not be limited by your history. Instead, let us make history.
The statues of fellow Olympians Veronica Campbell-Brown and Asafa Powell will join those of Shelly-Ann and Usain Bolt next year. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Did you know that in a recent survey done by the OCA in schools across Jamaica, 43% of the students received inappropriate messages from strangers? The OCA wants you to be smart online. Never speak to persons you don't know. Parents, encourage your children to be social but be smart.
This message was brought to you by the Office of the Children's Advocate with support from UNICEF.
As part of government's contribution to the global air travel network, the Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority earlier this year opened its state-of-the-art modernized air traffic control tower. Watch this.
The Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority welcomes you to our modern state-of-the-art air traffic control facility at the Sangster International Airport.
It endorses and underscores the commitment of the Government of Jamaica and the Airports Authority and the Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority to develop a world-class aviation industry.
Today represents an important milestone in the civil aviation history with the opening of the new Sangster International Airport Air Traffic Control Tower. This undertaking forms part of the Government of Jamaica comprehensive $4.92 billion modernization program.
The new SRA Tower comprises essential components of the Air Navigation Services Modernization Program. This has allowed the JCAA to enhance the safety, efficiency, and reliability of its air traffic services.
It promises to significantly boost Jamaica's air navigation service delivery. The tower will greatly enhance confidence, reliability, efficiency of our air navigation system as Jamaica continues to provide safe and assured service to airlines that navigate our airspace.
The tower is an 8-sided structure, approximately 122 feet or 37 meters above ground level.
We'll have a space to ourselves, that's one. When we're coming in, we're not trying to be hustling and bustling through tourists or any other stuff. We'll have a lounge area, which helps us to become a little bit more relaxed so that when we're actually on the sector, we are more focused and we are able to do our jobs that much better.
Line up and wait, runway 07, Southwest 1113.
With the industry's hallmarks being innovation and the conveyance of progress, we must continuously devise ways to exponentially increase our safety and value, while increasing the efficiency, overall performance, and utility of the industry for the nations, peoples, and the world at large which we serve.
We have expanded the training institute for air traffic controllers. We have 3 ground radar stations, one in Kingston, one in Montego Bay, and one in Manchester, so that the investment in the human resource to run all of the equipment that has been bought. The Sangster International Airport is our main tourist gateway. Some 4.2 million passengers transited this facility over the last year, and we intend to increase that this year to approximately 5 million. As a result of the equipment that we have here now and this new tower, it is going to enhance safety, it is going to underline Jamaica's reputation of a safe airspace.
This new ATM environment, which is comprised of both the Sangster and NMIA towers, as well as supporting infrastructure and technologies, has positioned Jamaica as a leading air traffic management environment with the most advanced equipment available on the market to improve the safety of air operations nationally and globally.
So Jamaica is known as the Singapore of the West in terms of our connectivity, in terms of air or sea route. And Jamaica will now facilitate other airlines. So even if the airline doesn't land here, because they are now transiting our airspace, we are going to be earning more. It's now easier for them to travel in a straight line, going to South America or from South America, going across, or even from Europe coming into this region.
I say we're winning right now, we forget that trophy to what we're living right now. We are the structures that we're building right now, yeah. Are we chilling right now? Oh yes, we're winning right now. Our Thanksgiving right now, yeah. I say we're winning right now, say we. Oh yes, we're winning. I want to hear you say we winning. Oh yes, Jamaica.
Our brand promises of safety, efficiency, and innovation are strong and evident. They are promises to which the world has grown accustomed to, and promises we must keep.
So as we take to the skies, may our flights be smooth, may our landings be safe, so that Jamaica may increase in beauty, fellowship, and prosperity.
Let's get a little breeze on this land. All right. Now let's get some bounce in the rhythm. All right. Let's get some fire on our hearts. Now that is what we call all right. Run, come, get some Jamaica.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness made announcements last week regarding the future operations of the National Water Commission, guaranteed to increase access to the commodity by our island's farmers. Take a look.
Concession agreements signed for Norman Manley International Airport. 5 finalists selected in the Houses of Parliament design competition, and
this Heroes' Day, let us resolve as ordinary citizens to be brave and take the steps to our destiny of peace, prosperity, and progress.
You're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Simone Wolfe. Last Monday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness revealed that a corporate governance and business model review of the National Water Commission, the NWC, had commenced. He said the entity was exploring new business models to transform its performance, including public-private partnerships or making the NWC a corporate entity.
The NWC's current business model, we realize, at times limits its ability to fulfill its own mission, leading to difficulties in raising capital or even meeting regulatory targets. And at the same time, the cost of water services is approaching unaffordable levels.
The Prime Minister was speaking at the 27th Annual Caribbean Water and Wastewater Association Conference and Exhibition in Montego Bay. He disclosed plans to reduce energy costs at some of the Water Commission's locations. One of those plans involves the installation of solar panels at the Mona Reservoir.
The NWC is coordinating with another agency that is within the Office of the Prime Minister, and that is the Petroleum Corporation of Jamaica, the PCJ, in figuring ways to introduce renewable energies in 20 of your production locations that will significantly reduce the electricity used.
By Tuesday, the Prime Minister was back in Kingston for the Conference of Executive Management, Heads of Mission and Consular Post held at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. He revealed that the country was being considered for participation in the first cohort of nations to be measured in the World Bank Group's Human Capital Index. The index measures the degree of the health of children, teenagers, and adults, as well as the quality of and access to education that can be received by those aged 18 and younger. Prime Minister Holness also disclosed that the Education Ministry would become part of the Program for International Student Assessment, PISA. The program evaluates educational systems and is part of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD.
It's absolutely important that the government redoubles its efforts from a policy perspective and from an implementation perspective to ensure that we're doing well in terms of measuring our human capital development.
The Prime Minister also shared that the Foreign Affairs Ministry was taking steps to address any negative global perception of crime in Jamaica. He said the enhanced security measures were part of that drive.
I believe that this is an opportunity to show that Jamaica as a civilization can give its security forces the authority and the power to use force within the context of the law and the respect for human rights, whilst at the same time having an impact on reducing crime.
On Wednesday, the Prime Minister witnessed the signing of a 25-year concession agreement for the operation of the Norman Manley International Airport, NMIA. Mexican company Grupo Aeroportuario del Pacifico, GAP, will be investing a minimum of $110 million in the airport's operations. Commercial closure of the deal is expected by December. Mr. Holness said while the Airports Authority of Jamaica still owned the NMIA, the partnership with GAP was needed to boost specialized management of the facility.
Allowing the competent skills to take over the asset, to manage the asset, and to take the risk unlocks a new world of opportunity for our airport. Now we can possibly take in more flights. Well, definitely you will have to take in more flights.
Wednesday also saw Mr. Holness attending the Jamaica Flour Mill's 50th anniversary rededication ceremony. He used the function and ensuing tour of the facility to call for more private sector-led investments into the economy.
The government of Jamaica is active in supporting the economic transformation of Jamaica. But for Jamaica to transform, businesses have to transform. I am serious about carrying through this to see to it that we have a parliament that all Jamaicans can be proud of.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness at the selection of the top 5 finalists in the Houses of Parliament design competition Wednesday. The architects, who are all locally based, each received $2 million. They will now refine their designs for the selection of the final awardees in February 2019. A total of 24 designs were submitted, and they are now on display at the exhibition room inside the Jamaica Conference Center until October 24.
Shelley-Ann Fraser-Pryce is truly a phenomenal woman who has made us proud. May this statue serve as an enduring inspiration for all Jamaicans, especially our girls.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness as he unveiled a statue of Olympian Shelley-Ann Fraser-Pryce. It's the latest to be erected in Statue Park at the Stadium Complex. Mr. Holness also urged the audience to pray for footballer Luton Shelton, who is battling ALS. And during his National Heroes Day message on Monday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness lauded the modern-day Jamaican heroes from all walks of life who display daily acts of heroism. He also commended the security forces for their work to rid the island of crime, at the same time calling on Jamaicans to join the fight.
As our forefathers found wise and effective ways of resisting oppression and brutality, which eventually led to our freedom, so it is that today, communities that are held hostage and oppressed by criminals must wisely play their part to resist and expose the criminal oppressors. It is the right thing to do.
And that's it for Jamaica House Weekly. Join us next time for more of the news stories coming out of the office of the Prime Minister.
It's always beautiful in Jamaica. Everything usually be green and pretty. We have beautiful water. Temperature that is normal temperature. The water never cold. We've been into business for about 13 years. JUSC-COOL. Just cool. It's spelled with 3 0. We make 3 different types of pudding. We make potato, we make cornmeal, and we make toto. This is the cornmeal, okay? That's actually almost the last process. What he's gonna do now, he's gonna put a gel on top. Within no time, we have to take it off because the gel give it a nice taste. We have people like Shelley-Ann Fraser came here. We have, you could name the biggest artists, Shabba Ranks, name them all. Being the Man, they all come here and buy their pudding. This is what we grew up on. Now, when the people come to Jamaica, everybody, as soon as they land off the plane, this is where they come. They want to taste this pudding because it brings them back to the old days. The long time days when they was kids growing up and they used to sit on the fire and watch their mama, their grandmother bake the pudding. We try not to change off our roots, we try to keep it that way. And not only that, we have a lot of love because we're all about love.
Creating jewelry has always been an important part of our culture, whether from board, metal, or just about anything we can find in our environment. Local jewelry makers share their pieces.
Droplets of beads, creatively designed metals, painted wood, all handcrafted to adorn the neck, face, or limbs. Made from natural resources found on the island, local costume jewelers are designing a niche for economic empowerment.
Natural handbands
These are like from Lucky Seeds and RSI, and these bracelet is from copper with seed mixed in. And we have bamboo handband. We have leather handband over here, and we have wallets, sandals, and pipes and chalices. Natural, all handmade right here in Jamaica. I've been doing this business for over 40 years now. I've traveled all over the world, and this is the business that I do. This is my living, and I'm very proud of it. I was working at the post office for 18 years, but in the 18 years at the post office, I learned this trade. I'm self-taught. That's what I love about this. I think about a creative piece, and I manifest it with my hands. And that's what I love about it, manifesting what I think.
So we have two lines here. We have one called the Heavenlies, and then we also have another line that's completely made out of paper, crafted from scratch, hand-painted by a fine artist and varnished. And that one is called Inspired by Nature. And if you look at it, you'll see things that remind you of sunsets or hillsides and mountainous reliefs and fruits and flowers. We have some freshwater pearls, we have shells, we have upcycled, I would say, materials that we use to make the earrings, so paper. So, and we do a lot of seeds and shells. I work a lot with shells. So those sorts of things. I'm telling you this, we don't know how rich we are. We're a very rich country. I'd love if we could concentrate on developing our skills and using our local product and advance. We are so rich that it's confusing sometimes to see what we're doing. So much stupid things. Killing each other, robbing each other. We don't have to do that. We have everything here. So we need to just concentrate and focus and be positive and use the things that we have, because we have a lot. Just being more mindful of what you're doing every day and what you're using every day, you know. Paper instead of plastic, that's kind of, you know, the stereotypical answer, but really thinking about where are you buying your products? Are you buying things that are locally made? Are you buying things that are imported more than the locally made?
This 24-hour period is being observed as International Day for the Eradication of Poverty. Hear this. The simple truth is that the policies of our country alone cannot create all the tools for overcoming poverty. October 17 emphasizes the importance of reaching out to people living in poverty and working with citizens from all backgrounds to end this global issue. This International Day for the Eradication of Poverty is being observed under the theme, Coming Together with Those Furthest Behind to Build an Inclusive World of Universal Respect for Human Rights and Dignity. As we mark the day, let us look out for each other and work to make Jamaica the place of choice for all to live, work, raise families, and do business. And that's all we have for you on today's show. But if you missed anything at all, you can watch it all again on our website or our YouTube page. And don't forget to keep up with us via our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter pages. Remember to join in the Heritage Month celebrations and get your family and friends involved as well. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry. Take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.